Hello everyone, student meteorologist Tevin Wooten here on a muggy Monday. We started out today with temperatures in the lower 60s with a lot of rain showers. Dew points also in the low 60s, so you may have noticed if you were walking around, the humidity level was through the roof, right around 90 to 100%. Guess what? We do have temperatures that will be in the low 60s tonight, but we warm up tomorrow into Wednesday and more into Thursday. That's on your futurecast, all thanks to this cold front that's stretching from the Tennessee Valley down to Lake Charles, Louisiana. The cold front has rain ahead of the front. The cloud coverage does stick around though, but this front starts to push towards the east into the Atlantic Ocean. And guess what's behind it? Some humid and warm air. That warm air surges in Wednesday into Thursday. We're talking temperatures into the 70s, possibly even 80 degrees. Here's a look at your headlines for the day. Down the pike, we're talking about low temperatures tonight in the 60s. That front moves through, maybe a few lingering showers, but some warmth later on this week. All your forecast details coming up as FSU weather starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
I'm student meteorologist Tyler Bird, and we have some interesting weather coming up this week.
Yeah, we have some warmth heading into the rest of this week, but showers for the next few 2 days, maybe 2 or 3 days. So.
Yeah, lots of cloud cover, so it's going to be cooler days as we have a lot of that humidity and moisture, but we're going to have warmer nights because all that cloud cover is going to be trapping the heat.
Exactly. So heading into the next few days with the cloud cover and the higher humidity levels. We might see some showers going in through today and the rest of today and into tomorrow, even seeing some for, I think, Wednesday, maybe some early morning showers.
Yeah, that's going to be the case throughout the southeast. But later on in the week, once a lot of that cloud cover moves out of our area, gets out of here, then we're going to start seeing higher temperatures. I think one day it could even get up to 79 or 80 degrees. So some warmer temperatures heading into the weekend, which will be nice.
Yeah, and this weekend we saw some a lot of rain in the forecast for this past weekend. Even some areas saw around 7 inches of rain for some areas of the Panhandle of Florida. There were a lot of flood watches and warnings in effect for many of these areas, but with that rain, it actually helped drought conditions in most of northern Florida.
Yeah, so that's actually really nice getting a lot of that rain because, that really helps out when you're in a drought. Obviously, you want rain, so it'll be nice to get a lot of rain. Nice change of pace. But
yeah, last week we were reporting very dry conditions among most areas of northern Panhandle. So with the rain that we saw this weekend, it helps with the drought conditions across.
Yeah, but I know I'll be happy once that rain moves out of the area. I know we had a drought, and that's great and all, but, I like sunshine. It'll be nice to be able to get out this weekend, hopefully. Well,
that's a brag, but I went home this weekend, and I enjoyed the sunshine in Tampa.
Oh, man.
I was able to spend some time outside because it actually was quite warm in Tampa this week.
Yeah, that's really nice. And I can't get down to South Florida that easily, so that's really great, though. I'm glad you got out and got a tan.
Yeah, and actually with that, we're going to take things out for a local look. As yesterday's rainfall, we saw a lot of rain heading into this weekend, as most areas of the northern part of Florida actually saw a lot of rainfall this about 7 inches. Destin, Florida, about 5 inches for Dothan, but even areas of the Panhandle saw around 7.5 inches of rain for most areas. So it helps the drought conditions among most areas of northern Florida. But today here in Tallahassee, we reached above average temperatures, but not quite too much. With the cloud cover, it kept temperatures from reaching a bit too high. About 69 degrees was the high for today here in Tallahassee. The low temperature about 62 degrees from this morning. But as we take a look at the current temperatures across the Big Bend region, we even saw we're seeing temperatures right now in the mid-60s. But the winds are variable across the Big Bend region, about 2 miles per hour in Monticello, about 7 miles per hour here in Tallahassee, coming out of the northeast, giving us a bit of a cooler breeze with that cold front that moves on our way through. So with the higher humidity levels, that nice cool breeze gives us a little bit of a break. But dew points are very high across the Big Bend region, so when you count dew points in for temperature, it tells you what it feels like when you walk outside the door. These high dew points ranging in the mid-60s, even up to 60s for areas like St. Mark's, about 68 degrees. When you walk outside, it feels quite muggy because these high dew points are very close to the temperatures, so it feels like you're swimming through the air, kind of. And looking at the southern radar for most areas in the nation, the wet spots mainly in the southeast as the cold front makes its way on towards the east, but as we zoom on more towards the local picture, we see just how much rainfall we saw throughout the rest of the day. But throughout most of the day this morning. But behind that front, we're seeing some overcast conditions. But well beyond that, we'll see the cloud cover start to decrease as the sunshine moves its way on through. Tonight, though, expect temperatures to not dip too far down because of the cloud cover. About a 40% chance of rain, so we could see some lingering sprinkles here and there, about 62 degrees. But as you wake up tomorrow morning, the fog will be the story behind that, with these higher dew points and humidity levels and the temperatures being quite low. We'll see some fog heading into the morning hours, most of the Big Bend region. But tomorrow, 74 degrees is the high for the afternoon. We could see a sprinkle here or there, mainly in the afternoon, as some thunderstorms are in the mix for that. But that east wind, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, bring us some little moisture in the mix for tomorrow. But the 5-day forecast telling us rain Tuesday and Wednesday morning. But Thursday and Friday, we'll see the sun starting to peek its way on through. About 78 degrees for Thursday, so we could see temperatures even reaching near 80 degrees for Friday, but a dip in temperature as we go on throughout the rest of the week into the weekend. About 74 degrees for Saturday with partly cloudy skies, as Michael gives us a look at what's going on across the southeast.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. The story across the southeast is similar to what it is in Tallahassee. We have that cold front situated right in the middle of the southeast, right here around Tallahassee particularly. Now that cold front is going to stall out, and you can see some clearing in Atlanta. That's not going to last long, as a wedge will start to kick in tonight. What a wedge is high pressures situated up to the Midwest. It's going to shift east, and that clockwise flow allows that cooler, more cloudy air to stick into Atlanta. So that's what's going to happen into tomorrow. You can see the temperatures ahead of the front really warm, with 58 in Atlanta, 66 in Tallahassee. But that cooler air is starting to filter in Little Rock and Huntsville at 43 and 41 degrees. Warmer in South Florida, where it's in the 80s still. Now you can see the cold front is situated right around Tallahassee, and behind the cold front, lower dew points with -12 in Atlanta, -12 in Montgomery to this time yesterday. And that's going to basically stall out that cold front. Again, here are the current dew points with 65 in Tallahassee and 52 in Atlanta. Now, the water vapor shows you all this moisture still stuck along the panhandle of Florida. They got a lot of rain, as Jennifer was saying yesterday. Destin picking up 8 inches of rain yesterday. Now, this is not going to move much as we go into the next 48 hours, but a ridge will build in, and it's going to finally clear out as we go into late Wednesday into Thursday. But it's going to remain very showery and cloudy across northern Alabama and northern Georgia due to that wedge in place with high pressure up to the Midwest. Now for tonight's forecast, it will be 49 here in Atlanta, 63 in Tallahassee due to the remaining cloud cover, allowing those temperatures to not drop that much. 73 down here in Miami. For tomorrow, note the temperature difference between Atlanta and Montgomery. Again, the reason for that temperature difference is due to that wedge. Cloudy skies, maybe a little drizzle up in Atlanta, but down towards Florida, it's going to remain warm with middle 70s in Tallahassee. I don't think we'll get up to 79 degrees tomorrow due to all the cloud cover, but 80s down towards Central and South Florida with 81 in Orlando and 84 in Miami. But let's take it back to the desk, and I'm going to talk to Jennifer. We're going to talk about the Olympics weather because it's been a very interesting story so far. Right, Jennifer?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of really, really cool temperatures for the Olympics.
Yeah, it's very, very cold because of that Siberian high coming down into South Korea. So they've been getting temperatures in the single digits, and with the high winds, it's been feeling much colder.
Yeah, they even postponed some events, like the downhill ski events, and even I think downhill slalom was one of them.
Yeah, those downhill ski events have been postponed till Thursday and Friday. So it's because of those high winds. Those high winds are really wreaking havoc on those events. So yeah. And of course, the high winds are due to the clashing of that cold air with the Siberian air mass and that warmer air. Yep.
Yeah, because of the high pressure system that the Siberian air that's dominating that region. So with the high pressure, you see a lot of higher winds with that.
Yeah, higher winds. That pressure gradient, as we say here, that's the reason for these higher winds.
Could we see some warmer temperatures, though?
Yeah, actually, the overall pattern is going to change into later this week, into this weekend. A ridge will build. That trough is going to exit, and again, a ridge will build, allowing warmer temperatures around average, which is 40 degrees for them this time of year. So it's still cold, but it's the Winter Olympics, so
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you kind of expect the cooler temperatures for an Olympics, but I know the record-breaking temperatures for right now.
Yeah, and it's really cold, and at least it's gonna warm up a little bit, and I think the winds will probably die down
Yeah.
by later this week. But now let's actually send it off back to the wall where Tevin has a look at our second local forecast.
Michael and Jennifer, thank you so much. So we want to talk about the rainfall that we've had so far. We know it was a wet weekend. Today we even got more rainfall, a little bit more than half an inch in Tallahassee. But look down here towards Apalachicola, or a little bit more than a quarter of an inch. But Wilma had 2.1 inches of rain in the past 24 hours alone. You tack that onto what they just got a few more days ago. And guess what? We are still under where we should be this time of year in the state of Florida, or at least in Leon County and Tallahassee for rainfall amounts. We're about 1.5 inches below where we should be for this time of year. So the rainfall is certainly a welcome sight for a lot of farmers, but also just for the drought, because we are in a severe drought right now. Hopefully we can get rid of some of that drought. Maybe a little bit more rain tonight or something in the immediate forecast. The drought monitor comes out on Thursday, so hopefully by the time we look at that, we've erased some of that severe drought, at least here in Leon County. I know areas west of Leon County certainly erased a lot of that drought or brought it down a few notches, which is good news there, because when we get into the summer, we know what happens here in Florida. It becomes dry, and that drought goes right back up. Currently outside right now, temperatures are in the mid-60s at 66 degrees. The dew point's at 65, so guess what? Humidity at 96%. It is muggy and humid outside. You walk out, it's the air you can wear, and it hits you when you walk outside of the door. 67 degrees in St. Mark's and Carabel, 70 right now for Perry. Monticello seeing temperatures uniform at about 65 degrees. As for the satellite and radar, we show you that we do have a lot of cloud coverage in the area, but not much rainfall left on this satellite and radar loop. So not a dry sky today. Usually we see dry skies here throughout the state of Florida. It's the sunshine state for a reason, but today that's certainly not the case. Cloud coverage sticks around a little bit longer, maybe tonight and 2 parts of your Tuesday. The rain, however, is gone, which is good news if you like to get outside and enjoy the outdoors minus the rainfall. Current winds across the region, just light and variable. Valdosta, Goose Egg, 7-mile-an-hour wind in Tallahassee. Notice the winds, though, behind the front. We know this front is sort of right in this area here. So behind the front, winds coming from the north and west, 6 miles an hour in Montgomery, 5 miles an hour from the north generally in Dothan, Alabama. But south of the front, notice the winds coming out of the south, and you generally get that convergence, and that's what causes parcels to rise a little bit quicker with the convergence and cause cloud coverage to form and eventually precipitation. So we're not seeing a lot of convergence just because we don't have rainfall in the area, but we do certainly have a lot of clouds. Tonight's forecast, we are at 62 degrees tonight. I think we might drop down a little bit more because the winds are calm and they're actually out of the north and west, so there's not as much mixing going on in the atmosphere. So we could certainly seep down into the upper 50s, lower 60s tonight with a slight chance for showers. 40%, we might be able to lower that because we see dry air intruding into the upper levels of the atmosphere. The clouds stick around tonight just a little bit, maybe some morning fog too. So if you're commuting tomorrow morning, be mindful and cautious of that. You don't want to run into someone because you're going too fast if you're driving, or maybe even riding a bike because of that fog that's out there tomorrow. So commute with caution Tuesday morning. Tomorrow's outlook, afternoon thunderstorms are possible. Temperatures are at 74 degrees, so we are warming up, and I think by the end of the forecast we might be seeing temperatures well into the 70s, close to 80s, and yes we do. So let's take you through this 5-day forecast. Tomorrow, a slight chance for showers, especially in the afternoon. Temperatures at about 72 degrees. By the time we get into Wednesday, the shower chances are down. Notice the sun is starting to peek through. Everyone is excited to see some sun on Wednesday. 74-degree temperatures on your Wednesday. Thursday, more sun, less rain, 78 degrees. The lows that day, 58. So we are starting to cool down a little bit, and that's when we see those huge temperature swings when we don't have that cloud coverage throughout the evening and overnight hours. So you might wake up in the morning on Thursday morning and need to wear a light jacket. But then by the time we get into Friday, Saturday, temperatures well into the upper 70s. I think, Tyler, we might be able to break into 80 degrees by Friday. If not, hopefully we can do it again on Saturday.
Well, I certainly hope so, Tevin, because I know I prefer sunshine, especially when you look across the board nationally, cloud coverage across the country. Let's start out west. 46 degrees in Seattle, pretty much what you would expect this time of year from them. 48 in Salt Lake City, a little sunshine in San Fran, 58 degrees. As you go south to Phoenix, it gets a little warmer, 65 degrees there in Arizona, 58 in Albuquerque. And as you go north from there, 19 degrees in Denver, so still really cold. Look at Billings, Montana, 3 degrees. It's freezing. Up in Minneapolis, 12 degrees, where they just had the Super Bowl. 34 in Kansas City. As we move down into our region, the southeast, temperatures are a little bit warmer because we have a lot of that humidity and a lot of that moisture here. So it was 66 degrees in Tallahassee, 51 in New Orleans, 58 in Atlanta, and then of course down in South Florida, 79 degrees. It's always warm down there. Satellite and radar are showing lots of moisture here in the southeast as we have that cold front that's kind of stalling out here, and that'll be here till Thursday, so you're going to see lots of humidity, lots of rain, and lots of cloud coverage. As you move west of there, though, you can see all that dry, warmer air behind it, barely any cloud cover in the Midwest, so they're getting a lot of those warmer temperatures that we're going to be seeing later on in the week. Keep on moving west. Lots and lots of cloud coverage. You can even see some snow in Denver and the Utah area around San Francisco. So much colder temperatures on the west, colder temperatures here in the east, and then that warm air right behind that cold front in the Midwest. And that's really reflected in our 24-hour temperature change, where you can see here in Tallahassee, we're still a little bit warmer, but if you go just west of us, they're down 20 degrees in New Orleans over the last 24 hours, down 6 degrees in Atlanta, up the East Coast, down 21 degrees in Washington, D.C. But right behind that front, warmer temperatures, up 6 degrees in Dallas, up 5 in San Antonio, up 8 in Memphis. And then as you keep moving west, Albuquerque up 12, but you start seeing more of that cloud coverage, up 4 degrees in San Francisco, down 9 in Phoenix, down 23 in Denver, down 6 in Billings. So again, Midwest, lots of dry, warmer air. And looking at the current dew points, as you might expect, dew point is a measure of the humidity, so the higher the dew point is, the more hot and muggy. So where we have all that humidity and rain in our area, those dew points are going to be a lot higher. 69 in Miami, 52 in Atlanta. As you move west, you can see that tan coloration. That's all that dry air, 28 in Dallas, down to 13 in Denver, negatives in Billings, -4, -7 in Minneapolis. So again, lots of dry air this way, lots of hot or cold, humid air this way. Looking at water vapor showing you the same thing. Barely any, that kind of orangish color, that's that dry air. And here you can see green on the East Coast, green here in the West. Lots of cloud coverage, lots of humidity. But the flip side of that is when you have a lot of that cloud coverage, it traps heat. So your nights are going to be a little bit warmer. So here in Tallahassee tonight, 63 degrees, up at 73 degrees in Miami, 54 in New Orleans. But in that area that has lots of dry air, it's going to be colder. 36 in Dallas, 36 in Memphis, and west also colder. 30 in Salt Lake City, 5 in Billings. And looking ahead to tomorrow, lots of rain, lots of humidity in our area. 79 in Tallahassee, 65 in New Orleans. As you move west, still some cloud coverage, but lower temperatures. 51 in Dallas, 46 in Kansas City. Out west, although 60 in San Francisco, start seeing some sun. But for now, I'm going to send it back to the desk with Tevin and Michael.
All right, thank you so much for that look on the outlook on the national forecast, Tyler. We appreciate that. So now we want to turn to something that you may notice when you go to the grocery store. The price you pay for juice is expected to spike due to the production of citrus fruits in the state of Florida falling to its lowest level since 1945 due to Hurricane Irma.
Yeah, Hurricane Irma is only one of the reasons why the citrus crop is having issues over the last year. They also had this greening effect. It's a greening effect, right? Because it's like some fungus affects the crop.
Fungus affects the crops and it grows disease on it, so they can't harvest what citrus fruits that farmers do have because of the greening effect. But also with Irma, the Category 4 storm tore through just about 5 months ago and wiped out between 50 to 90% of Florida's supply of citrus fruits, which supplies about 60% of the country's citrus fruits.
Yeah, the crop is going to have, you said $760 million of damage. And it was also the worst year for the citrus harvest, again, since 1945.
So more than half a century.
And I remember seeing that they thought they were on the uptrend. They thought this was a rebound year for them, but then Hurricane Irma basically wiped out their entire crop, and it's looking like it's going to be a struggle for next year at least.
Yeah, Mother Nature had a different plan, and it wasn't just bad for the farmers and their crop, but it was also bad for the state of Florida and the labor the agricultural sector of Florida. About 56,000 jobs were lost in the agricultural segment due to Hurricane Florida and the citrus crop harvest that was not.
Yeah, so we all hope that all these Florida citrus crops, they at least get some recovery. It's looking like the winter actually looked pretty good. We'll see they don't need too much rain, because,
Right.
but they do need some rain for that citrus crop. But we hope everything's on the upturn as we go into the next growing season.
Days like today really help out so they can go out and grow crops, because about $2.39 billion was lost due to this crop failure, unfortunately, for the state of Florida and the Labor Department here.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's send it out to the wall where Jennifer has a look at the weather around Florida.
And as we take a look at current conditions here across Florida, we see a range of temperatures up and down the state. About 79 degrees for Miami, even Fort Myers seeing about 80 degrees with mainly partly cloudy skies for most of these areas. Northern Florida seeing a bit cooler temperatures because of that cold front and the rain that we've saw throughout the day. About 68 degrees for Jacksonville, 66 degrees here in Tallahassee, and the cool spot on the map, 57 degrees for Pensacola, as they see the real effects of the cold front that's moving on through across the area. And as you take a look at the satellite and radar, we'll see the rain chances mainly increasing for most areas of central Florida. Going into tomorrow, overcast conditions for most areas of northern Florida, but South Florida will stay dry for the next few days, as they won't see the rain chances that we saw this past weekend. And the 24-hour temperature change is where we see the picture of where the cold front is. The cold front is right here because the temperature changes behind that cold front are variable, about an 8-degree temperature decrease for Pensacola, whereas here in Tallahassee, we actually saw an increase in temperature because of the warmer air that you'll see ahead of the cold front. But most areas of the panhandle of the peninsula are seeing the temperatures varying for many areas, but Jacksonville is a bit cooler, about 10-degree decrease in temperature there. Dew points across the map are showing that it's very humid when you walk outside the door. Many areas like West Palm Beach are seeing higher dew points, about 71 degrees there. So when you take into effect the dew points and the actual temperature in the air, it feels very muggy when you walk outside the door, especially here in Tallahassee, where the dew point is reaching the actual temperature outside the door. 66 degrees is the temperature, whereas the dew point 67 degrees, and we'll just see the surge in moisture as we look at the upper level water vapor. The surge in moisture pulling in from the Gulf is really fueling that storm system that came on through, dumping a lot of rain for most areas of North Florida, whereas South Florida is staying pretty normal, not too bad, not too much moisture in those areas. They're seeing a bit drier conditions for most areas of South Florida, as the winds are showing us where the cold front is as well. Northeast wind in Jacksonville about 6 miles per hour, as well as 7 miles per hour here in Tallahassee, mainly out of the northeast. But ahead of the cold front, we're seeing some the winds mainly from the east, about 10 miles per hour though out of West Palm Beach, a little bit gustier, about 12 miles per hour in Orlando as well. So with that east wind, they'll see mainly drier conditions because there's dry conditions in that area. Watches and warnings, we're seeing mainly, we're seeing some river flood warnings for most areas because of the rainfall that they saw throughout this weekend. Some advisories off the coast of the Atlantic seaboard as well as areas mainly in Key West are seeing some small craft advisories, small craft advisories for most areas there. As well as going into the weekend, we'll see the rain chances picking up as we get headed into most days. Tonight's forecast, though, will keep temperatures staying fairly mild, about 69 degrees for Orlando, as well as 63 degrees here in Tallahassee. But heading tomorrow, we'll see the rain chances mainly for Central Florida, 81 degrees for Orlando, as well as 84 degrees for Tampa. As I pass things off to Michael for a last look at our forecast.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. Let's take a look at Tallahassee's conditions right now. It is 66 degrees, but look at that dew point. With it being at 65, it is feeling very humid and very gross outside. And we do have a northeast wind of 7 miles per hour, so that's allowing the moisture to shed off for right now. Now you can see across this tri-state region, clouds are dominating, the reason why the cold front's right in the middle of the tri-state region. And you can see up towards Montgomery, it is cooler with that cooler, dry air starting to filter in. Down towards Gainesville, it is warmer where the front hasn't made it through yet. Here's the story from yesterday. The rainfall was really ridiculous, in my opinion, across the panhandle, with that moisture basically stalling, and we call it training, where storms go over the same place again and again. 6.85 inches of rain there in Dustin, 5.07 in Dothan. So it looks like when the drought monitor comes out on Thursday, that severe drought might be gone, in my opinion. So the current dew point, it's still in the 60s because the front hasn't made it through yet. These will remain for the next 24 to 48 hours because that front isn't going to move that much. The winds, you can see the wind shift already happening with winds coming from the north in Dothan, here from the northeast in Tallahassee. But down towards Florida, the winds are still coming from the south, and that's because the cold front hasn't made it through yet. Now, satellite and radar shows you that cold front right along the Florida panhandle. It's going to stall out. Now, we have high pressure up towards the Midwest, and that high pressure is going to shift east and allow a backdoor cold front, as we call it. What it is, it's going to leave the clouds here down in Atlanta. As I was saying earlier, it's a wedge effect, so it's going to be cloudy and cool tomorrow in Atlanta. But down here towards Tallahassee, you can see that stalling cold front. It's not moving that much, and it's going to remain like that for the next 2 days. But a ridge will build in the Gulf, meaning that it will be much drier and much warmer as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. The 24-hour temperature change shows you colder air behind the cold front with a 13-degree drop from this time yesterday in Montgomery. Tallahassee, Albany, and Valdosta hasn't had much of a change due to the cloud cover. But for tonight's forecast, 62 will be our low. Right now we're at 66. Again, the clouds are not going to allow those temperatures to drop that much. And due to all the moisture in the air, there might be some morning fog. But tomorrow the front will allow some afternoon thunderstorms to pop up, but not really a high rain chance, with 30% being that rain chance. And as we go into the 7-day outlook, you'll see the clouds will stick around until Wednesday morning. Once that ridge builds in, we'll get those clouds to break and the temperatures will warm up. We might be able to crack 80 degrees on Thursday and Friday, and it's looking like a really nice weekend for now. But let's send it off to the desk where we're going to wrap up.
Thanks, Michael. So what do you think about that forecast, Leah?
I don't think it's too bad, considering the fact that we had rain Saturday and Sunday, and a little bit today. Much needed rainfall, first off. So secondly, if we can get those showers out of here and not linger around too much, I don't think it'll be that bad, especially it's a trade-off. You get rain one day or a few days, and then the warmth towards the end of the week. So if you don't like one, stick around and wait. We'll change here in a few days.
Sure, and I'd much rather have it be rainy during the week when I'm in class than the weekend. When I'm out doing things, I'm trying to get outside, so much rather have that more muggy, awful weather during the week.
Absolutely, and like we talked about earlier, farmers need it too, so
exactly,
it's not bad for everyone. It might be bad for students walking into class, but there are other people who are making money off of this, and so sort of depend on it.
Yeah, grab an umbrella, bring a rain jacket, you can survive.
And it's not bad because it's not cold and rainy. That's the worst. Cold and rainy is probably the worst thing, and I stay in bed too for that weather. Sorry, teachers, if you're hearing that. I won't let it happen again.
No, sure, and I mean, being from South Florida, during the summer, it rains every day, so I'm used to having rain and having to deal with that, plan your day around it.
Absolutely.
So nothing out of the ordinary.
Not too bad. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast one more time, just in case you missed it a second ago. Tuesday and Wednesday, we do start to rise and climb in temperatures up to about the lower 70s. By Thursday, this is what Tyler and I just talked about, temperatures in the upper 70s, possibly even 80 degrees. So if you want to get out and enjoy the sunshine, those are the days to do it.
Yep. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
And on Facebook.com/FSU Weather. Maybe send us some photos, tag us in your outdoor plans or anything outdoors you do.
You can watch us live on YouTube at youtube.com/FSU Weather/live every weekday.
And we're on Instagram too. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you back here Tuesday.